And so plagues and famines, there's going to be more plagues other than the bird flu. They're going to be pushing out more plagues that will affect mankind. One-third of the Earth's population is going to die from the coming plagues. And it makes you wonder if at the same time they're going to pull out something else to try to combat this avian flu, now that I've exposed it for what it really is. That the avian flu is nothing but alien contamination and what's killing them. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. Another thing is that been seeing the Ark of the Covenant up in the codes lately. Look for the switch from Ethiopia to Jordan with that, because I've already made Ethiopia pretty well known that they have the fake one sitting over there, and Metre is fully prepared to pull it out of Ethiopian claim that, oh, they've got the Ark of the Covenant and blah, blah, blah. Look for all that to switch to Jordan now. to see if they switch to Jordan, because Ethiopia's been exposed. They may just stick to Ethiopia, I don't know, but Jordan has been coming up in the codes, and so look for that. Also look for Japan to be immersed. Now, I don't know if this means immersion of water, which is what I assume, because Japan directly is a dragon nation. They can directly link all of their entire heritage back to the dragon seed, and they're proud of that. It's in their culture, it's in their heritage, and so I think what happens, what might happen, is that so many of these people die from this orgo, and they're just going to sink the island to hide it. Either that, or it just literally does get immersed. But I think that's what I'm saying, is that they're going to hide the deaths and just sink the island, and so because it's a serpent seed, it's a pure serpent seed line. Now, I'm not saying that the Japanese can't be saved, or that the Chinese can't be saved and have redemption from the Lord and all that. Anybody, his salvation is open to all. But if you want his salvation, they can't put it off, because his blood can redeem them, But so many people just don't think about it. So many people think, well, I'll get my life straightened out and settled when I see Satan arrive, or after the rapture, or they have some kind of excuses as to why they're not serving and following the Lord now. Don't put it off, folks. Don't put it off. Because you don't know. Tomorrow's not promised to you. You don't know how long you'll have. And just think of all the rewards in heaven that you're not building right now. And so I'm going to answer a couple questions, and I'm going to end the show for the night. Hey, Sherry, glad to hear you. Praise Yahweh and Yeshua. Hey, I'd like your thoughts on the creature or monster found off the coast of Montauk on Long Island. Is it from a crashed UFO or an air experiment gotten loose? I don't know what it's from. It's from Montauk, and so that remains, there's a crossbreeding facility over there. They have a time gate travel machine thing where they pull things out of hell over there. I really don't know. It's Montauk's over there, and so that's like the end. It could be something straight from hell. And for those of you who want to know, I'm talking about that. They had that beast that was circulating the internet earlier last week that washed up on the shore of New Jersey. And I was wondering if Oregon had killed it. We've got all kinds of Oregon out there in Long Island, so I would hope to think that we closed that gateway they were using for time travel over there. Was the whole point of getting Long Island and Montauk areas is to try to close that gateway so they couldn't use it anymore. So I don't know why it's dead, but I'm thankful it is. Boy, that thing was ugly. But there's Montauk over there, and then there's a crossbreeding facility, and so it's hard to say what it was. Try to get to another question from a listener, and that's going to be it, folks. Somebody who lives in California who wants a time frame for disaster in California. I don't have a time frame. I just know you need to get out of there. The Lord's been trying to warn his people for 2 years to get out of California. Florida. People, if you don't listen, you get caught. Eventually time comes up. I've been warning the believers, any believers in Japan, to get out of there for about 2 years now. Eventually, time runs out. You got to get out of there. You're going to get caught. And even living in California, what's going down eventually. They even joke about the big one coming, and so how can you live there and know what's coming? And you know what's coming sooner or later. Head to the Midwest area of. I've talked about it on the show before. The safe zone areas. What is that? East Colorado, or east. Oklahoma. You've got northern Arkansas, the northwest and central part of northern Arkansas. I got southern Missouri. You got Missouri, I believe Idaho, Nebraska, little states up through there. There's going to be a huge circle area from the mountains of Colorado and perhaps down to New Mexico on the east to the Missouri River on the west. And of course the Missouri is going to widen out, probably pretty nice chunk, so you don't want to get too close to Missouri. That's going to be pretty much the safe zone for the coming destructions, the water that's going to destroy our country. Because Isaiah says the earth's going to shake back and forth like a drunkard. And so, water's going to envelope and drown a lot of territory here. A lot of the East Coast, I've seen that. I was given an open vision last night. In fact, I was given a map of our country, and the Lord told me it would be much, much later. So not anytime soon. But like that, the safety zone I've been talking about for a year or two now, that whole central area east of Colorado, to halfway through Missouri and up to Nebraska and Idaho and down to just at the top of central Arkansas there. That's going to be an island. It's going to be an island. Everything else around it is going to be in water. I saw a couple of little islands around in the east and the southeast. I was busy looking for Ohio, so I didn't really notice the west. The west just looked like all water. But you would see little dots inside. I would imagine those are islands as well. It almost looked like I was just seeing a map of Hawaii. There was one big island and all little ones around it. That's what our country is going to look like by the time the Lord's judgment is done with it. And so I wouldn't worry about that one right now because we've got so much more to get through before then. And basically, his judgment is really going to come in the last half of the tribulation because, Maitreya is going to be coming after the believers, the remnant, the bride that's left here after the Orgoan faction has been raptured. He's mad. He can't get them. He wants to take his vengeance on somebody. So he goes after the church. And the Lord's judgment's going to be on him for doing that. A lot of those people, these believers sitting in the churches today, they've got the heads stuck in the sand. You can't break through the 5 pounds of earwax in their ears. They can't hear the truth. They can't see it. But a lot of them still love the Lord, and they'll die for Him. And the Lord is still going to take vengeance on Maitreya for doing what He does to them. So He still loves them, folks. They'll just go through a time period of testing. And this is a testing that's going to encompass the whole world. And so... Question from a listener, can you talk about why pigs are hybrids? we get in a discussion on my New World Order list about pigs at least once a year, and it grosses me out every time we do. Pigs I've heard that pig's pork is the closest thing to human meat out of any animal. It's just nasty. It's some kind of a hybrid animal. The hog was never created by God. It was one of these hybrid creations by Satan, who was trying to be God. And so he was creating all these hybrid animals, and pig being one of them, which is why we're forbidden to eat pig. So that's all I'm really going to say about it. It was bad enough a couple years ago when I was running my show, Aliens in the News, during the afternoons, and I did a show on cannibalism, and it was just nasty. And that's why humans are so good to aliens, because we taste like pig. We taste like pork. You see why so many people like pork? Well, that's why aliens like humans. I know, it's nasty. But anyway, until next week, everybody, God bless.